You're watching Camnet TV, not just another channel. Welcome to Camnet TV main news. To present it, my name is Banda Tandiwe. The headlines: Government lays ground for the enactment of the Access to Information Bill. 10,000 families face eviction from their land which has been sold to the Chinese. KALINGALINGA man who assaulted Anglican priest whilst preaching surrenders himself to the police. In our international news, UN urges Ethiopia to protect Tigray civilians. And in our sports news, CAF President AHMAD banned from FIFA for 5 years. Do join me with the details after this break.
Camnet TV viewers, I'm your pastor, Pastor Moses Chiluba. This Monday, on 23rd November 2020, I have the privilege of hosting Mr. Enoch Kavindele, the former Vice President of the Republic of Zambia, on national matters. Join me at 2030. Make a date with us, and may God bless this great nation of Zambia.
Join Pastor Victoria and Moses Chilua, the Healing Word Ministries International.
Starting on the 3rd to 6th December 2020.
Dr. Francis Miles from the USA returns to Zambia for a conference on issuing restraining orders.
Because you see, God responds to your revelation. So if you approach God as the healer, He heals you. If you approach Him as your shepherd, He will touch your soul. But if you approach Him judicially, He will show you He's the cause.
Venue: the Healing Word Ministries International in Ibex Hill. Time:
17 hours to 19 hours from Thursday to Saturday.
And on Sunday from 09 hours to 11 hours. For more details, call +260 962 965 883. You do not want to miss this conference this time.
Hello, have you heard about Lusaka? Do you know that you can advertise for as low as 150 kwacha for 30 seconds? Well, Lusaka is here. Advertise on Lusaka between 17 hours and 18 hours. Just tell us about the services that you offer and we'll gladly put you on the market. For more details, you can contact
+260 953 995099. +260 962 444 726 or +260 971 177 467.
Lusaka, allowing your business to grow.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. We begin with our first story. The Chinese dominance in Zambia has continued to manifest itself in various sectors of the Zambian economy. Now, over 10,000 families in Chief Liteta's area of Chibamba district are faced with eviction as the land they have occupied for years is said to have been sold off to the Chinese. But the villagers have vowed to defend their land and not lose it to foreigners. More in this report.
Twakaka is a Lenja word meaning we have refused. These are the village men and women of Liteta area in Chibamba district resisting the alleged development from the Chinese nationals that have come to occupy the land without due consideration of displacing the actual occupants. In Liteta area, it is alleged that 8,000 hectares of land has been given to the Chinese nationals by the traditional leadership in the area. The land in question is said to have over 10,000 people from 12 headmen. In simple terms, if they are left to go ahead and take the land away from the local people, over 10,000 people will be displaced from the only place they call home. Zambia recognizes two types of land tenure, which is customary and leasehold tenure. Historically, the majority of land in Zambia has been held under customary tenure. Customary land is protected by traditional leaders, otherwise known as chiefs. Traditional leaders can only give land up to slightly above 250 hectares. While this may be true, the case is different for Liteta.
Problem they have, Chinese have come. They made their map. At his home, they even entered in the funeral or graveyard.
Onopa kwamba itwambe ma meeting akafura payane mbo bakesamba aba polisi amafuti.
When they were complaining, Chinese came with the police.
Kusamu kushika bakaruya amafuti usuni tromu yasa.
They came with the police and they were with the guns.
Ndebo palwangu ndakali aba kumfutatira police usarara ne wenjase chimane.
Then he forced himself that even if you want to shoot me, shoot me.
Tutoja kwamba tuye kutulishe kwamba ya ng'ombe ashinde wao ai transpass ule bamura wakaswa mkona masewozi 3 days ai transpassing ano transpassing mwana kumishe Yesu kuno tutoja transpassing chinshika mburundu ndwesu batakati bosho transpass yo so wanse watu bakubunga nao pa transpass
amo takuwa wenga musena kuri baresa yo kare nakuri chishinjesu twabakaka.
Clearly, no one is happy about this alleged development in the area. They are since calling on government to help them save the land they have called home for their lifetime.
We are there at the meeting at school.
Swako twakanyamuka watu meeting ndia kawa wakamba tonyfwa antarasha wakali kwamba tonyfwa antarasha mbawani wali kwamba tonyfwa no bantu namutoka kana mutosumina.
When they came, the Indians, Mr. Council Chairman Ntalasha of Chibombo said, if you are agreeing, we are hearing from you.
Muba manene bakunembo mbuli ba DC ba mu Chibombo district alimu aba Council Chairman Chibombo district alimu aba chief besubaiteta.
They took those head places through our Council Chairman, our chief and DC.
Efforts to get a comment from Chief Liteta could not materialize. What is left is whether the Ministry of Lands will take it up or not, knowing that traditional land is vested in traditional leaders. For now, we can only hope that the matter will be sorted out amicably. Sharon Kalimbula, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Meanwhile, former senior chief Shakumbila of the Sala and Ila speaking people of Central Province, who was recently dethroned as chief for rampant sale of land and displacement of villages, has applied to Lusaka High Court to serve court documents on newly installed Chief Shakumbila and 2 others through print media. Mr. Patrick Chibamba tells the court that he is having challenges serving the documents on the defendants, accusing them of being in hiding. The former chief wants the court to declare that he is still the reigning Chief Shakumbila, and an order of interim prohibitive injunction directed the defendants to restrain them, their servants, agents, and whoever from continuing to interfere with the execution of his chiefly duties and his administration of the Shakumbila chiefdom. Mr. Chibamba has since accused the new Chief Shakumbila, Axon Shibalanga, of masquerading as chief. He says his dethronement is illegal and contrary to the procedure prescribed by the customs and traditions of the Sala people and breach of rules of natural justice. And in other news stories, due to the cumbersomeness involved in obtaining a voter's card, some bus drivers are scared that they may be defranchised from participating in the 2021 general elections. The drivers explain that getting a voter's card requires one to be on the queue for several hours. But considering their jobs, which work with targets, they are unable to spend long hours needed just to get a voter's card. According to them, even at night, the process is still not friendly to them, as long queues are still the order of the day. The drivers have since passionately appealed to the Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ, to consider opening up additional conducive centers where bus and taxi drivers can quickly get voters' cards without spending a lot of time on the queue. More in this report.
The slow voter registration exercise has continued to anger some of the citizens who have described the process as heartbreaking, and this time it is the bus drivers. While they wake up early and retire late, the role that bus drivers play in our economy cannot be overlooked. And having to meet daily targets means it is hard for them to spare their entire day to stand on long queues and register as a voter.
apanganya ma voters card na effective na kuvota but time tima kilapo kuseni maningi so time kutyanjire ngande upanga milaini kutinge ma voters card ni dandalo tili nayo kaili mabasi muziba nyabene wakela zenshito tikashinga kutandizira ko chipanganya atu timachirira maningi 05 tachoka manyumba choka ku manyumba 05 chenda ku manyumba no mazulo so batsakire ko che presetting atingire po ma voters card kuri bemilaini monga mabus drivers plus petrol plus sakire ko na ifina nyumba na yabana ero na ife yomwera pesika tilibe kai time tupeze ka tilibe assist mayona so na tunafuna kwa pesa ko time ro day tabo tanache kuvota ko ya ma drivers tema yuficha ma voters card doke ko tivutika ko bilaidi kala 3 days so apa kai boteka bavuto ko so paper ko kapewa gadu disile cheba days dafya izakosa ko badili yavuta ko do badili ko watu fulu 03 pesa line ko la ku first bus stop bakala chogo badike kai watu pesa weda go 2 days wakaibotega yo sugafike cheba wachiri.
Others have also expressed concern over the poor quality of the voters card that have been issued, saying this might not last a test of time.
Number 2 voters card ma to di pepo kasana kairi mayo kairi to ko to kare akare kare na rikasunga kare kose de mayo kare aka songa infura mayo yandoka kudoka na kenda kairi shino vali no voter futi.
Electoral Commission of Zambia ECZ Chief Electoral Officer Patrick Shindano announced last week that his institution is in the process of recruiting 1,100 additional voter registration officers. It is hopeful that with the increase in manpower, late voter registration exercise will be a thing of the past. And Minister of Transport and Communication Mutota Kafayo has also encouraged bus drivers to find time to register as voters. The minister has also appealed to bus drivers to be cautious as they drive during this festive season in order to avoid accidents.
Driver ichindike pamusebo pakweva ati tuikwata ma accident mu festive season. Driver chindika konaba kolelwa abashikwelele motoka yobe. Pantunga wa mupunga ulianishwa ona ula family yako. Kevo vine. So lila tule lomba bekala chalo kweba tinga wako lwa uyangalila pamusebo. Tule lomba na drive kweba tinga wako lwa uyencha moto. Dekomu no ya kuwaliko kunga.
Prudence Chota for Camnet TV News.
Debates surrounding freedom of press in Zambia will be a thing of the past as government launches the Medial Development Policy and Government Communication Policy. Minister of Information and Broadcasting Services, Dora Silia, says the launch of the media policy is meant to lay a foundation for the enactment of the Access to Information Bill. Ms. Silia, who graced the launch this morning, says government intends to promote professional standards in the media industry by encouraging media self-regulation as the main vehicle to realization of a free, independent and professional media. Let's get the details.
The world is revolving and communication is key to driving the vehicle. But what happens when technology takes over the driver's seat? Digitalization is today changing the way we communicate, but truth and accuracy remain key to managing proper information dissemination. Government of the Republic of Zambia has today launched the Government Communication Policy and the Media Communication Policy. The media policy is anchored on 4 main pillars, which include media freedom, media pluralism, media independency, and safety of journalists.
My ministry government has therefore developed a communication policy premised on its commitment to democratic governance that places a high premium to proactive, coordinated, consistent dissemination of information to the public. There's been a national debate for quite a while about the access to information, but we said that was more like putting the cart before the horse, because we did not have yet an information policy, yet we wanted to have legislation for access to information. Without the policy, it has not been able for us to put through access to information legislation, because as they say in English, if you don't know where you're going, it doesn't matter what road to take. We needed to be clear that we have a policy that provides how government will operate, collect information, coordinate it, package it, and be clear at what levels it should be disseminated. Then only can we legislate for the citizens to have the right to access information from government in a coordinated manner that provides security, inclusivity, integrity, and accountability.
The preparation of the government communication policy and the media development policy followed the standard procedure for development of any government policy.
Every profession is unique, and every professional wants safety. Attacks on media practitioners have, however, continued to be on the rise, and killing this elephant requires the participation of all stakeholders.
I am very, very pleased that recently there was a meeting at which the Permanent Secretary represented me, and that the various stakeholders came together with the United Nations to recognize the International Day for the Safety of Journalists. We've seen a very disturbing trend in our country where journalists are attacked just because they are doing their job. I think that we all need to rise to the occasion using one voice to really speak against attacks, against violence on journalists.
With the media development policy in place, the stage is set for the media to grow and contribute not only to be a well-informed citizenry, but also to job and wealth creation. Prudence Chota for Camnet TV News.
The suspect in the assault case involving an Anglican priest in Lusaka's KALINGALINGA compound has surrendered himself to the police. The suspect has been identified as 62-year-old Leonard Mwale of KALINGALINGA compound. Police spokesperson Esther Katongo tells Camnet TV News in a statement that the suspect has been warned and cautioned for the offense of assault, occasioning bodily harm, and is in detention. On Sunday, Mr. Mwale was accused of assaulting the priest during a full service as the man of God was preaching. According to police investigations, the man is from a church splinter group which is opposing proposals for church elections. The two groups are also fighting over a parking space within the church building. And in other news stories, Lusaka Chief Residence Magistrate Lamek Mwale has reserved ruling to the 4th of December 2020 on whether the court will proceed to hear the matter in camera or not in case in which 4 Ugandan and 2 Zambians are accused of stealing 14 million kwacha from Atlas Mara. The accused, who are charged with 84 counts after the state amended the charge, have pleaded not guilty to only 24 counts before the court this morning. More details in this report.
Trial involving 4 Ugandans and 2 Zambians accused of stealing 14 million kwacha from Atlas Mara Bank will generate massive public interest when trial begins. However, as it stands, most people who want to follow the proceedings will be out of luck. The magistrate handling this case, Chief Resident Lamek Mwale, is yet to decide whether the media will be allowed to report on the case. As it stands now, the courtroom restrictions caused by the coronavirus pandemic makes this the right time and case to allow the media to attend court session. But the state have opposed in camera during trial and requested the court order that the media not to report on the case on grounds that the security system of the bank involved and the reputation of the accused may be at risk. The defense, on the other side, objected to the state's application, stating that the matter be heard in public as the accused names were already implicated when the Drug Enforcement Commission held a press conference to announce their arrest, hence the application be dismissed. The accused have been charged with money laundering, interception of data, and theft involving 14 million kwacha from Atlas Mara Bank Limited. Accused involved in this matter are Patrick Kafula, Austin Daka, Vincent Sipenji, Sylvester Apule, Makosana Ndolo, and Rashik Yangulanya. The 6, who are charged with 84 counts, took plea only in 24 counts this morning before court. Allegations are centered on theft, money laundering, unauthorized access to critical database, conspiracy to defraud, and lawful possession of device designed to overcome security measures for the protection of critical data, among related offense. The case has been adjourned to the 4th of December 2020 for ruling on the state's application and amendments to the charge. Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News in Lusaka.
We do take our second set of commercials. Do stay with us as we return with more news stories.
And why do you look so pale and busy scratching yourself?
Well, Amwandi, you know my skin is very sensitive. I've tried all the skin products and nothing seems to work.
Have you tried Oracle Pure Glycerin?
Oracle Pure Glycerin? What's that?
Just give me a minute.
Oracle Pure Glycerin gives your skin a youthful and healthy glow.
Ish, you're glowing. Don't tell me. Yes! I already know the secrets. Oracle Pure Glycerin!
Try Oracle Pure Glycerin for that perfect skin. The University of Zambia, in conjunction with Monze and Kitwe Community Development Staff Colleges, wish to invite applications for admission to the first ever and affordable degree program for the 2020-2021 academic year. Bachelor of Arts in Community Development and Social Welfare, Diploma in Social Work, Mulungushi University, Diploma in Community Development, Taveta, 3 years. Admission requirements: minimum of 5 credits in 5 subjects inclusive of English language. Certificate in Community Development, minimum of 5 passes in 5 subjects inclusive of English language. Application for diploma and certificate is 100 kwacha, while for degree is 150 kwacha. For more details, you can contact 0955 724486, 0966 851496, 0977 937383.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Camnet TV viewers, I'm your pastor, Pastor Moses Chiluba. This Monday, on 23rd November 2020, I have the privilege of hosting Mr. Enoch Kavindele, the former Vice President of the Republic of Zambia, on national matters. Join me at 2030. Make a date with us, and may God bless this great nation of Zambia.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with our news stories. An accountant from the Ministry of Finance has exonerated National Democratic and Congress NDC leader Chibamba on the charges leveled against him, testifying in a matter in which NDC leader is charged with 39 counts, among them abuse of authority of office, forgery, uttering a false document, obtaining pecuniary advantage, and possession of huge amounts of money suspected to be proceeds of crime. Chilani Kafuti, 45, says investigations conducted reveals that Mr. Kambwili's financial status was within his entitlements when he served as cabinet minister. Mr. Kafuti explains that Mr. Kambwili's total net worth as of 2014 and 2016, when he served as minister, was over 565,000 kwacha. On the 8th of December 2019, Mr. Kafuti was assigned by the Anti-Corruption Commission, ACC, to do a summary on salaries paid to the NDC leader between the period of January 2014 and July 2016, when he was on payroll, to determine whether he stole public funds or not. Let's get the details.
Trial has continued in the Lusaka's Magistrate Court involving the opposition leader Chibamba in a case is accused with abuse of authority of office, forgery, uttering a false document, obtaining pecuniary advantage, and possession of huge amounts of money suspected to be proceeds of crime. National Democratic Congress party leader Chimba Kambuli made his appearance before Magistrate Mwakamikalile this morning. The court session, which took almost 6 hours of trial, had on stand 3 witnesses before court, who among them an accountant from the Ministry of Finance, Chilani Kafuti, testified that Kambuli's net worth from 2014 to 2016 was legally accumulated. Mr. Kafuti testified that the net worth for Kambuli when he was a cabinet minister between 2014 and 2016 was over 560,000 kwacha. As testimony continues, the witness says on 8th of December 2019, he was assigned to do a summary on salaries which were paid to the NDC leader between the period of January 2014 and July 2016, when he was on a payroll which the Anti-Corruption Commission requested for. He testified before court that during that time, he was the end user for the payroll, called political and statutory, which cater for all the cabinet ministers. The other person who testified is the tax inspector at Zambia Revenue Authority, ZRA, Bibiana Munachonga, who confirmed to the court that the Zambia Revenue Authority has been issuing tax clearance certificate to Mwamona Engineering and Technical Services from 2013 to 2018, and they have also received a tax clearance from 2019 and 2020, which means they are tax compliant. She also confirmed to the court that not being compliant to the tax is not a criminal offense, but taxpayers are given time to pay their taxes. And the last witness who testified is Nondo, who was a director of designing, monitoring and international relations at the Zambia Revenue Authority. He had told court in his testimony that Mwamona Engineering was not tax compliant at the time. In this matter, Kambuli has been jointly charged with 2 Zambia Revenue Authority officers for representing a fake tax clearance certificate to secure contracts, and they are facing 39 counts of abuse of authority of office, forgery, uttering false document, among others. Trial continues. Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News in Lusaka.
The controversial mass media flyover bridge along ANGLICAN Road, once described as a death trap by local government permanent secretary Ed Shomba, has started receiving a facelift. The bridge came under public scrutiny from both engineers and the general public on its design. Local government minister Charles Banda, however, disowned Bishop Chomba's observation, saying government was happy with the project. More in this report.
The controversial mass media flyover bridge on ANGLICAN Road is under reconstruction. The bridge follows numerous complaints about its design. The bridge, described as a death trap by many, is receiving a facelift, hopefully to correct what one may call a slope or a hump in the middle of the bridge. The bridge is part of the Long Acres Mall being constructed at a total cost of $72 million United States dollars. Sabelo Moyo is engineering consultant who explains the current status of the bridge to the media. Mr. Moyo says for now only vehicles with a load of 4 tons will be allowed to fly over the bridge.
The bridge did not develop anything. Okay? When I say snag, there's always design intent. So what, as a designer, I intend to do. Okay? So once I provide that, then I want the contractor to execute according to that. So sometimes, because of practical challenges, they fail to achieve that. So then after they've delivered, we go back and ask them to make those amendments. What happened with the vehicles is when we consulted EIZ, and it's justified, they said they don't want heavy vehicles to go over the bridge, okay? And this sometimes you attribute it to maybe vehicles that are not roadworthy, because no matter how much rules you implement, there will always be 1 or 2 vehicles that are not roadworthy. And also you don't want an overloaded vehicle stopping on the ramp, say when there's traffic congestion. Okay, So it made sense that, yes, to minimize the risk, let's keep heavy goods vehicles, and they indicated that they wanted only up to 4 tons to go up the ramp. So that's one of the feedbacks that we got from EIZ, and we made amendments, and that's what we are trying to implement.
The bridge is said to be completed in the next 3 weeks, will help to save lives by reducing the lanes at which people cross when going to the other side. Poporai Mawarera is a contractor from China State Construction.
The duration is like 4 weeks from the moment we started working on the snags. We have surpassed 1 week, we are left with 3 weeks. So 3 weeks from today, we'll be done with working on the snags.
Any works are faulty, and of course snags should be done. It means that we only pay for them after everything has been corrected. So in this case, in terms of the question being asked, the implications are such that the cost will be the same as intended. The initial cost for this project, away from what we've seen in newspapers saying 6 million bridge and everything like that, is very misleading. The foundation works for this particular bridge have been only $800,000 and $1.2 million for the superstructural works in terms of this bridge. So in total you're talking about just around $2 million for the whole bridge, and we've saved about, not all of it has been spent, even with the reworks, some of the reworks that have been done, we've saved about $500,000 on this particular bridge. So sometimes it's unfortunate to see people speaking about things that they don't know, without facts, without evidence. They don't even come to the source to find out what is really happening.
Sharon Kalimbula, Camnet News, Lusaka.
A tractor procured using constituency development funds in Lusaka's Chawama compound has been handed over to the community by Lusaka Deputy Mayor Christopher Shakafuswa. The tractor will collect solid waste transportation and disposal. Speaking at the event, Mr. Shakafuswa says Nkoloma Ward in Chawama is faced with challenges of indiscriminate dumping of waste, which needs concerted efforts in finding a solution. He explains that indiscriminate dumping of waste has been on the increase, and this has caused concern amongst residents. Hence, the Lusaka City Council procuring this tractor for the ward in order to supplement efforts of the community-based enterprises and also to remove heaps of garbage accumulated in various areas. The Deputy Mayor says the initiative is in line with our Solid Waste Management Improvement Plan from 2020 to 2024 on achieving efficient collection of waste by 2030, which also ties in Zambia's Vision 2030. Mr. Shakafuswa has further assured all cooperating partners of his unwavering support towards engaging the community and all stakeholders in waste management challenges for the betterment of Lusaka City.
It is with great pleasure that today, with support from Lusaka City Council, through the Ward Development Committee, the Ward Development Fund, we are gathered here in Nkoloma Ward 1 to witness the handover of a tractor to the ward. Ladies and gentlemen, the ward is faced with challenges of indiscriminate dumping of waste and which need concerted efforts in finding a solution. Indiscriminate dumping of garbage has been on the increase, and this has caused concern amongst the residents. Hence, Lusaka City Council procuring this tractor for the ward to supplement the efforts of the community-based enterprises in the ward. Ladies and gentlemen, this initiative is in line with our Solid Waste Improvement Management Plan 2020-2024 on achieving 80% collection of waste by 2030, which also ties into the Zambia Vision 2030.
The Commuter Magazine has urged government to actualize the phasing out of buses without seat belts. Institution team leader Liswaniso Mwanalushi has observed that buses without seat belts pose a great danger to lives when such a bus is involved in a road accident. Last year, Transport and Communications Minister Mototwe Kafwaya had directed his permanent secretary to speed up the constitution of the Committee for Implementation of instructions given by President Edgar Lungu to remove buses without seatbelts on the Zambian roads. And Mr. Mwanalushi has noted with concern that slow-paced the proposed statutory instrument is implemented. Meanwhile, Mr. Mwanalushi has called up the stakeholders on a meeting stressing the need to finding a lasting solution on this issue.
Wakateka wanakamba position yao. Actually wanakamba mabasi watufunga mshita phase out. But on the seat belt, I mean, how to actualize the fitting of seat belts. I don't think Mozambique in a company, I mean, because in those buses, they have modified the seats. And those seats are very dangerous to the commuters, to the passengers in case of an accident. In case of bus accident. So, as we're looking forward to the responsible agencies to come up with a plan how the rollout will be done, how they'll be phased out. Because it's one thing we saying we are phasing out these buses without seat belts, and what will the bus owners be doing? What will the owners of the bus drivers be doing? No, that's not the way to go. So, there's a plan on how they will actualize that, because going forward, it's important that we have buses which have seat belts for the safety of everyone.
As the country marks Child Health Week, Health Minister Dr. Chilufya Chitalu has stressed that child health is the engine to national development. Speaking when he officiated the event Child Health, Dr. Chilufya says the government will not relent in safeguarding the health of children in the country. The second 2020 Child Health Week launch was held in Lusaka and Chawama Township. During the launch, various health experts urged parents and guardians to ensure that their children are taken to the nearest health centers to access various services, including immunization. More in this report.
As the country marks Child Health Week, securing the health of children means safeguarding the future. Just like a common Bemba phrase suggests that imiti ikula empanga, meaning the forests of today represent the future forests. Hence, it is important that needs of children are taken care of. Child Health Week is an opportune time to seek child-friendly health services with the view of taking care of needs of children. UNICEF Deputy Country Representative Mauti Gandhi says quality healthcare delivery is crucial towards safeguarding the plight of children.
From the 18th of March, where Zambia recorded its first case of COVID-19, the Ministry of Health and indeed the government of Zambia has remained steadfast in its commitment to implementing a robust, multi-sectoral response to the COVID-19 pandemic. From the outset, the Ministry of Health has taken a carefully calculated and strategic decision to prioritize the continuity of essential or routine health services while also responding to COVID-19. The launch of the 2020 second round of the Child Health Week is a testament to our collective efforts and resolve in ensuring that we protect the precious lives of Zambian children, even in the face of COVID-19.
Representative from the World Health Organization urged frontline workers to do their best in order to have a fruitful campaign by observing COVID-19 guidelines.
in undertaking a supplemental immunization activity of this magnitude through this Child Health Week, even in the context of COVID-19. The efforts made in ensuring the continuity of essential health services in an integrated manner has been key to ensuring that no one is left behind. The COVID-19 pandemic had its toll on the country, resulting in the interruption of routine health service delivery. So we must all ensure that recovery plans to catch up on missed opportunities are developed, implemented, and monitored to reach all eligible populations.
And officiating the event in Chawama constituency this morning, Health Minister Dr. Chitalu Chilufya stressed that child health is the engine to national development. Dr. Chilufya says the government remains resolute in addressing vaccine-preventable diseases such as measles.
This exercise is being done through government support, through government partnership with cooperative partners, with a Gavi grant, a grant from Gavi, and support from the UN family, and government and its cooperative partners has invested $4.4 million in this exercise. In the year 2019, we had a measles outbreak in Labushmanda, and it claimed 41 children. We had pockets of measles outbreaks in certain parts of the country, and government will not sit idle until every child is protected from vaccine-preventable illnesses, including measles.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
Medical for Quality Healthcare in Zambia, MQHZ, has appealed to members of the public to avoid abusing antibiotics because the medical consequences of these abuses are too colossal and usually irreversible and lead to death. Organization Executive Director Quincy Mwabu notes that as the country commemorates antimicrobial resistance awareness this week, there is need for concerted efforts among all stakeholders in the health sector in tackling challenges of antimicrobial resistance amongst Zambians. Dr. Mwabu says MQHZ has observed that antimicrobial resistance is reducing the effectiveness of proven treatment for illnesses like malaria, tuberculosis, and HIV and AIDS. Antimicrobial resistance occurs when microbes, bacteria, viruses, fungi, and parasites no longer respond to the drugs designed to kill them, and inappropriate use of antibiotics is often the consequences of them. Meanwhile, MQHZ has commended government through the Ministry of Health for improving primary healthcare services across the country. The organization has since urged the Ministry of Health to continue strengthening the healthcare system in Zambia in order for the poor communities also to begin receiving quality healthcare.
In Zambia, we would like to commend government through the Ministry of Health for improving the primary healthcare services across the country. Our valuable statistics, it is stating that our country in primary healthcare, it has improved from 52% in 2011 to 84% in 2019. And that is commendable, and it has to be sustained. And however, I would like to urge the Ministry of Health to continue strengthening the health sector so that our poor people in our respective community should continue receiving the quality healthcare services. This week we are commemorating the Antimicrobial Resistance Week, and our appeal is to all the stakeholders in the health sector. Let's work together and see how we can suppress the challenges that we are facing in Zambia when it comes to microbial resistance. And our strong appeal to the general public, please, let's avoid misusing the antibiotics to avoid the antimicrobial resistance. And let's avoid self-prescription.
Still to come is our international and sports news. Do stay with us.
We all miss the days we would play outside, go to school, and visit fun places.
But now, we all have to take care to prevent the coronavirus. Viruses are really tiny particles that we can't see with just our eyes, so we need to keep ourselves safe by practicing good hygiene, such as washing our hands with soap and clean water regularly. We can also use hand sanitizer to keep our hands clean. It's also important for us to keep our bodies and surroundings clean. We must also avoid handshakes, hugs, and standing close to other people in public places. This is called social distancing. The coronavirus has affected millions of people around the world, so we need to stay safe. In the meantime, we can keep ourselves busy by reading a book, watching TV, and doing some schoolwork. There's so much we can do indoors. Stay safe, stay home, and prevent COVID-19. We're all in this together.
This advert is sponsored by the Zambia Revenue Authority, ZRA. My tax, your tax, our destiny.
Stay home, stay safe. Times have changed. With the advent of the coronavirus, Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company would like to advise its esteemed customers to avoid visiting crowded places. You don't have to move to pay your water bill. You can do it in the convenience of your home. You can pay your water bills through Zanaco Zapit, Stanbic Bank, Standard Chartered Bank, and FNB. You can also use Airtel, MTN, and Zamtel Kwacha mobile money transfer services. For any inquiries to report a fault, please contact our customer service on +260 211 251 571, +260 975 618 618, and toll-free line 5957, Zamtel only. You can also simply email customerservice@lwsc.com. This public announcement is brought to you by the Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company. Water is life. Sanitation is health.
Join Pastor Victoria and Moses Chilua at the Healing Word Ministries International.
Starting on the 3rd to 6th December 2020.
Dr. Francis Miles from the USA returns to Zambia for a conference on issuing restraining orders.
Because you see, God responds to your revelation. So if you approach God as the healer, He heals you. If you approach Him as your shepherd, He will touch your soul. But if you approach Him judicially, He will show you He's the cause.
Venue, the Healing Word Ministries International in Ibex Hill. Time,
17 hours to 19 hours from Thursday to Saturday.
And on Sunday from 09 hours to 11 hours. For more details, call +260 962 965 883. You do not want to miss this conference this time.
Hello, have you heard about Msika? Do you know that you can advertise for as low as 150 kwacha for 30 seconds? Well, Msika is here. Advertise on Msika between 17 hours and 18 hours. Just tell us about the services that you offer and we'll gladly put you on the market. For more details, you can contact
+260 953 995099, +260 962 444 726, or +260 971 177 467.
Msika, allowing your business to grow. Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. In our international news story, the UN has urged Ethiopian authorities to ensure the protection of civilians as the army plans to attack the capital of northern region of Tigray. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed announced a 72-hour deadline for the regional fighters to surrender. The army warned Mekel's 500,000 residents that soldiers would encircle the city and attack it. The Tigray People Liberation Front, which controls the mountainous region, has vowed to keep fighting. The conflict has reportedly killed hundreds and displaced thousands in recent weeks. The UN has warned it could trigger a humanitarian crisis. On Sunday, an Ethiopian army spokesman told residents of the city to save themselves before an offense is in the city begins.
United Nations Refugee Agency and other humanitarian organizations are supporting the Sudanese government in response to the growing crisis as the number of new arrivals are far outspacing the capacity on the ground. The spokesman for the UN Secretary General, Stefan Dujarric, said there's a need to ensure that aid continues to reach areas affected by the conflict. He said efforts to provide support for victims is becoming more difficult as roads in the Tigray region remain blocked, putting millions at risk for food insecurity and disease.
That they and their partners continue to call for the protection of civilians in Tigray, respect for international humanitarian law, and ways to assess needs and ensure that aid continues to reach areas affected by the conflict. Roads to the Tigray region remain blocked, and our partners warn that supplies will soon be exhausted, putting millions at risk of food insecurity and disease.
Stefan Dujarric also raises concern about the risk for the spread of COVID-19 due to the lack of communication and health facilities.
It's also concerned about the movements of people and the risk this entails for the spread of COVID-19. Since the beginning of the conflict, all systems of surveillance have broken down with lack of communications and access to health facilities.
According to reports, Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed indicated that the military operation launched in response to the reported occupation of a government military base by Tigrayan forces nearly 2 weeks ago would continue. Abiy said the military campaign is now in its final phase. Meanwhile, the local leader of Ethiopia's Tigray region said on Tuesday that the battle was still ongoing around the southern town of Amalata, which federal troops said they seized the previous day.
We do take a look at what we have in our sports news. In our first sports news item, Confederation of African Football CAF President AHMAD has been banned for 5 years by FIFA for breaching various codes of ethics. The 60-year-old vice president of world governing body FIFA has been found to have breached codes relating to duty of loyalty, offering and accepting gifts, abuse of position and misappropriation of funds. The investigation into Mr. Ahmed's conduct from 2017 to 2019 concerned various CAF-related governance issues, including the organization and financing of Umrah pilgrimage to Mecca, his involvement in CAF's dealings with the sports equipment company, Tactical Steel, and other activities, a FIFA statement read. Mr. Ahmed, whose impending ban was announced by the BBC Sport Africa last month, has also been fined $200,000. He has previously denied any wrongdoing. He can appeal for his sanction at the Court of Arbitration for Sport once he has received the full grounds for the decision, a process that can take up to 60 days. Last month, the former head of Madagascar's FA announced his intention to go on a second term in office when CAF elections take place next March. In other sports news stories, the final round of the SASCON Invitation Golf Tournament came to an interesting end on Sunday, as the two-round leader from Malawi, Paul Chidale, who was also tied with Mwalikwa Sondashi, after the second round fell back to finish third overall, while Sondashi finished the third round 1 under par, which secured him the second overall spot. The win was taken by none other than Madaliso Muthia, who edged his way to the top after an amazing 8 under par final round to finish the tournament at 11 under, finishing 6 shots clear from his closest competitor. Michael Chiluba now gives us a report.
Another beautiful but still windy day at the lovely Bonanza Golf Club, where juniors from across the country would come to enjoy and play in 3 rounds of competitive golf. Amateurs would also come to support and enjoy their round, even though the shots wouldn't go as expected. Much love and respect for this junior who traveled all the way from the Copper Belt and has a touching story that saw the sponsors of the tournament donating gifts after he had the only hole-in-one of the week.
Well done, Emmanuel. Well done. And congratulations.
The main battle, however, belonged to these 3. Paul Chidale, who held a 36-hole lead after having shot 2 under in the first and second round, would be tied at 4 under with this man. Mwalikwa Sondashi, and closely trailed by Madaliso Mutia, who had a disappointing 7 drops in the first round to finish 2 under par and shot 1 under in the second round to only be 1 behind the lead. The final round would see the final group battle it out hole after hole and would have their fair share of missed putts. This, however, wouldn't last as they eventually began to drop. Leading to this moment, Madaliso came from being 1 shot behind to having a 6-shot lead from the rest of the pack. He had this approach to the par 5 18th that missed the green to the left and had a follow-up shot that came to within 5 feet of the cup. Having a lip out for birdie to finish 12 under, Madaliso tapped in for par to finish 11 under to once again claim the year-end Suscon Invitational. Madaliso, congratulations on your win.
Thank you very much.
I know you had a lot building up your game, 4 in a row. Walk me through your round. First 2 rounds landed you 1 behind the lead. Of course, the first round you had 7 birdies and eagle, still finished 2 under, 7 drops. And then you came to the second round, shot 1 under. Where was your head at entering round 3, the final round?
Yeah, I wasn't too pleased with myself with the number of drop shots that I made on the first round, and then equally on the second round I was having a good round actually going, given the conditions how tough they were. But I didn't finish off the round well. I actually made a bogey on the last one, the par 5. I hit it in the water, so it kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. But I knew that coming the next day, I needed to sort of come out of the blocks really well and shoot a good score in order to have a chance to win. And I managed to do that. It started off much hotter than I anticipated, but managed the round throughout and managed to shoot the 64. So it was very exciting for me. Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much.
20 Suscon Invitational Champion, Madaliso Mutia.
Bringing you coverage of the Suscon Invitational from the beautiful Bonanza Golf Club in Lusaka. Michael Chiluba, Camnet TV Sports News.
That sports news item does bring us the end of the news, but before we go, a recap of our headlines. Government lays ground for the enactment of the Access to Information Bill. 10,000 families face eviction from their land which has been sold to the Chinese. Kalingalinga man who assaulted Anglican priest whilst preaching surrenders himself to the police. In our international news, UN urges Ethiopia to protect Tigray civilians. And in our sports news, CAF President AHMAD banned by FIFA for 5 years. The Camnet verse of the day is coming from the book of Psalms 107 verse 1, and it reads, "Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His faithfulness, love endures forever." Thank you so much for joining me on Camnet TV, which is just not another channel. My name is Banda Tandiwe. Pleasant viewing.